And you don't evolve, for me, in my job, unless I cap myself somewhere and say, okay, you made this much money.
You're standing still, and you know it. You've been telling yourself you're moving forward, right? You've been convincing yourself that you're putting in the work, that you're hustling, that you're grinding. But deep down, you know it's all talk. You know it's all fake. Because if you were truly evolving, if you were truly pushing your limits, you wouldn't be in the same place right now. Listen to me carefully. You don't evolve unless you cut yourself somewhere. You have to cut deep. You have to tear yourself apart, because that's the only way you're going to build something better. No one gets stronger by staying comfortable. No one grows by staying where they are. No one. You can't evolve if you're content with who you are right now. And I don't care if that person is better than the person you were last year. It doesn't matter. You've got to be willing to make that sacrifice. You've got to be willing to break yourself down to your core. And when you do, you'll realize that the only way to evolve is by getting uncomfortable, by getting messy, by cutting yourself open and letting the pain teach you. I've been through some things, man. Some things you can't even imagine. I've pushed myself to the edge and then I've jumped over it. And when I fell, I didn't just scrape my knee. I fell into darkness. I fell into a pit. But you know what? That was the moment I started evolving. That was when the transformation started. But I had to go through the pain, and you do too. You can't just talk about your dreams. You can't just post about them on social media. You can't just say, yeah, I'm working on it, and expect to see results. You have to cut yourself open metaphorically, but also literally, emotionally, and spiritually. You have to bleed. Because when you bleed, that's when you begin to see the cracks, the weaknesses, the parts of yourself that need to change. And only when you confront those parts, when you stop ignoring your flaws and weaknesses, can you finally evolve. You think just showing up is enough? Hell no, it's not. You're lying to yourself if you think that showing up for a few hours a day is going to get you where you want to go. You can't cheat the grind. The grind will expose you. It will break you down and show you who you really are. And if you're not willing to cut yourself, if you're not willing to shed some blood and tears, you'll never evolve. The process isn't easy. If you think it is, you're setting yourself up for failure. If you think you can just waltz through life without facing adversity, without challenges, without putting yourself in the fire, then you're fooling yourself. That's not how it works. If you don't embrace the grind, if you don't choose to step into the unknown and get uncomfortable, you're never going to reach your full potential. And that's the truth. Hard truth. Every time I push myself past my limits, I feel like I'm being torn apart. But that's exactly what needs to happen. You have to tear yourself down to build yourself up. You have to destroy your comfort zone to grow. Comfort zones are prisons. They hold you back. You think you're safe in there, but that's the lie you've been telling yourself. So let me ask you something. What are you afraid of? Seriously. What's holding you back? You're not afraid of failure. You're afraid of the pain. You're afraid of what it's going to feel like to cut yourself open, to go through the struggle. You're afraid that you're not strong enough to handle it. But here's the thing. If you don't face that fear head on, if you don't push through it, you'll never know how strong you really are. The process of evolving is brutal. It's messy. It's not pretty. You're going to stumble. You're going to fail. You're going to feel like you're drowning in your own blood, sweat, and tears. But that's where the growth happens. The growth doesn't happen in the easy times. It doesn't happen when things are going well. It happens when you're in the trenches, when you're bleeding, when you're broken, when you're at your lowest point. That's when you start to see who you really are. If you're not willing to make that sacrifice, then you'll never become who you were meant to be. You'll never know what you're capable of. You'll never know the true power that lies within you. The power that comes from overcoming the pain, from pushing through the suffering. The power that comes from cutting yourself open and evolving into something better. We've all been through some shit in our lives. I know I have. I know you have too. But it's what we do with that shit that defines us. It's how we handle the challenges, the struggles, the pain that makes us stronger. If you keep running from the pain, if you keep hiding from it, you'll never grow. You'll stay stuck. You'll stay weak. And you'll never evolve. Let me tell you something. Evolution is not a choice. It's a requirement. You don't get to pick and choose whether or not you want to evolve. You have to evolve or you die. That's the hard truth. If you're not constantly growing, if you're not constantly pushing yourself, if you're not constantly cutting yourself open and tearing down the old version of yourself, then you're already dead. You're a walking corpse. And that's not the way you want to live. You need to take ownership of your evolution. You need to take responsibility for your growth. You need to stop waiting for life to hand you opportunities. You need to stop waiting for someone else to push you. You need to stop waiting for motivation to show up. You need to start doing it yourself. You need to stop talking about it and start being about it.
So, let's get real here. The truth is, there's no finish line. There's no end point. There's no moment where you say, I've made it. I'm done. That's a lie. The moment you think you're done, the moment you think you've achieved enough, that's when you start dying. That's when the evolution stops. Because if you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. There's no standing still. You need to wake up every day with one goal: to evolve, to cut yourself open and face the pain, to be willing to put in the work, no matter how hard it is, to keep going, even when you don't feel like it, to keep grinding, even when you feel like you're at your limit. Because that's when the evolution happens. That's when you become who you were meant to be. Stop looking for shortcuts. Stop looking for the easy way out. Stop looking for validation from others. Get out of your comfort zone. Get out of the cycle of complacency. Get off the couch. Get off social media. Stop listening to all the noise. And start doing the work. The work is what makes you evolve. The work is what shapes you into the person you were meant to be. So stop talking about it. Stop making excuses. Stop saying you'll get to it tomorrow. There is no tomorrow. There is only today. And today is your chance to cut yourself open, to push past your limits, to evolve. It's not going to be easy. It never is. But you're stronger than you think. You have more inside of you than you could ever imagine. All you have to do is tap into it. All you have to do is push yourself beyond the point where you want to quit. Because when you do that, when you keep going when everyone else stops, that's when you start to evolve. That's when you start to see the real transformation. So don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the right moment. Don't wait for the stars to align. There is no perfect time. There is no magic formula. There is only the work. There is only the grind. There is only the evolution. And if you're not ready to face that, if you're not ready to make that commitment, then you're never going to reach your full potential. You're never going to see what you're truly capable of. So ask yourself, are you ready to cut yourself open? Are you ready to evolve? Because it starts now. It starts with you. And if you're not willing to do it, if you're not willing to bleed, then I can't help you. But if you are, if you're ready to embrace the pain and grow through it, then let's get to work. You don't evolve unless you cut yourself somewhere. Get out there, embrace the grind, embrace the pain, cut yourself open, and evolve into the person you were always meant to be. Get to work. Now,